Hello, I'm Elaine Sanchez, founder of Caregiver Help, and I am back with Dr. Joseph Casciani, geropsychologist, and the founder of the Living to 100 Club. And we've been having some really interesting conversations about life after caregiving, aging solo, and I will add from your work, Dr. Casciani, living well.
Yes.
And so we've been through some really difficult topics about what happens in this emotional journey after the loss of a loved one. And today, what we're going to be talking about is redefining who you are and rediscovering purpose after caregiving. And I think that one of the things that I've seen that is hard for people is to give themselves permission to move past the grief and to give themselves permission to be happy again, and to not feel guilty or feeling like they are being disloyal
Mm.
to the spouse who has died, for them to go on and be happy that this is an okay thing to do. So what I would like to do now, Dr. Kassiani, is turn back to you and ask you, how do you make this transition? How do you give yourself permission to move forward? And then once you give yourself permission, what are the steps that you would recommend?
Well, great topic, great questions, Elaine. Thanks. I think you said it best when the important first step is to give ourselves permission to explore what's next. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we don't know, but it's not a matter of being disloyal or betrayal. It's really the opportunity to respect what's happened and allow ourselves to move on. I think one thing I can say about purpose that is it's not something we find. We go looking for our purpose. Purpose is built, purpose is constructed. We might find a seed somewhere and we can build from that. But it's not like we're going to, knock on someone's door and open a book and say, oh, there's my purpose.
Oh,
I think it's based on who we are, how we're made up,
mm-hmm.
what our experience have been, what our values are, what our, judgments are, and how to construct a purpose from that.
Yeah.
It's not easy, but again, it's not like somebody's gonna send us a package from Amazon and say, here's your new purpose. No, doesn't work that way. We build it, we construct it.
That's great. I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And again, it comes with giving ourselves that permission because starting something new doesn't diminish what we've done or what we've had or our relationships in the past. I had a patient in a nursing home once who was had a very bad cardiac condition and he had to have a leg amputated. And so about 3 or 4 months later, he had to have the second leg amputated.
Oh my.
And he was a professional boxer, if you can imagine. And I'll call him Ralph. Ralph it was just, of course, devastated, just as anyone would be. And I looked in the mirror and said, "How can I go on like this, missing my legs? I used to pride myself on my body, my physical
Mm-hmm.
prowess, and here I am now, a double amputee."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Ralph, your value as a person doesn't diminish because part of your body is missing.
Mm-hmm.
Your value as a person is intrinsic, no matter
Mm-hmm.
what happens to your body. And the same thing for the widow or widower. Your value, your right to experience the world doesn't diminish because you are feeling guilty about starting anew, right? You
Mm-hmm.
can you can let go of that one identity and you're not kind of what's the word, you're not betraying your loved one because you're doing something different. Now, I mean, purpose might, it starts in small steps, of course. It's
Yeah.
low pressure activities, volunteering,
Mm-hmm.
maybe taking some classes, going to some social groups. There's some great senior centers around the country. There's a lot of opportunities to be involved, but there's small steps. We don't need to set major goals.
Right.
We've talked about this already, but we're looking at taking a little step here, or maybe making a call, or maybe going online and searching for things. I wrote this series of card decks you can see behind me, and there are 12 decks, 60 cards in each box, and they're really a collection of activities for senior living communities and
Okay.
different topics, starting new chapters, living longer, neuroplasticity. The last one I wrote was called What Opportunities Lie Ahead? What are the rich opportunities that lie ahead?
Okay.
I thought it was going to be difficult. This was the easiest one to write because I found there were so many things open to seniors about, volunteering, mentoring, things to celebrate about aging,
Mm-hmm.
all kinds of activities to get involved with. And it's there at our fingertips. The whole world is now just at the other side of our keyboard. So
Right. Right.
it's finding these little things that might spark some interest. And then, it might be progressing to something new, maybe a new career, maybe studying some musical instrument or a new language. During COVID, I bought myself a set of drums. I'd never played a musical instrument
Oh,
in
really?
my life. And I bought these electronic drums. So if you're wearing a headset, nobody
Oh,
can
yeah.
hear you. You
Yeah.
just hear a little tapping. My wife doesn't get to enjoy my drumming. So I wear the headset and I love it. I take
Yeah.
lessons and I love it. And again, I've never played a musical. I wish I had. I see
Yeah.
these other younger adults, even kids coming to the same place. So anyway, it's all about taking those little steps, exploring, seeing what gives you a little spark. And purpose really often emerges just from helping others, maybe being a
Yes.
mentor, maybe
Mhm.
volunteering at an elementary school or
Mhm. Mhm.
connecting.
Mhm. Mhm.
Whatever that is, again, it comes in different shapes, but it is kind of allowing ourselves to say, okay, I used to do such and such, and now I'm looking at something 180 degrees different
Yes.
from what I used to do. I used to be a nurse or a social worker,
Yes.
a writer, and now I want to go into electrical work, or I want to do some mild construction or anything. So
Mhm.
it's always that different direction. We look at say, okay, I want to see what's that, and it's we talk about comfort zones. I love to talk about
Mhm.
comfort zones. Um, there's a writer. His name is Joe Dispenza. He's kind of a new age guru, and he wrote a book called um, what was it? Letting go of yourself or becoming a new person, something like that. And it's all about redefining that new identity. I should come up with a title. I will in our next
We
video.
can put it in the program notes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Anyway, it is that whole notion of okay, I have this new unfamiliar
Yes.
opportunity. It's a
Yes.
little anxiety producing. I'm
Yes.
not comfortable. It's very unfamiliar to me. And Joe Dispenza says that's where, oh, breaking the habit of being yourself. That's what it's titled.
Oh, oh,
Breaking the
okay.
habit of being yourself. He says, look, you step out of your comfort zone and it is anxiety arousing, but that's where the opportunity lies,
Yes.
where you can find the
Yes.
new joy, because it's not going to come from the familiar. It's going to come from the unfamiliar, the unpredictable, and that's what we all can look forward to. We used to talk about aging as something to dread, and I don't see it. I think aging is an opportunity to open new doors. We always talk about aging. What do we lose when we get older? And I like to talk about what we gain when we get older, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Talk a lot about loss. Let's talk about what we gain. And I'm not diminishing the experience that person who lost a spouse is going through. Not at all. I'm
Mhm.
just saying we can get through that period of grief and bereavement, and we can move on to finding that new purpose and
Yes,
constructing something
yes,
new that is really meaningful to us and where we can maybe volunteer or contribute in some way. So that's what I see as purposeful. Yeah,
yes, I do too. I think that's great. And that one of the luxuries about being older, if you don't have to work for a living any longer,
yeah,
is that you have the luxury of time.
yeah,
And that means that you can pursue the things that are um, that you would have never had the time or the
yeah,
freedom to do when
yeah,
you're raising a family, when you're working full time, or when you're caring for another person. And then when you are finished with that, I don't want to say free of it, but when you are finished with it, then you have the whole world of choices
yeah,
available to you. You
yeah,
know, I wouldn't have guessed that you were a rock star,
yeah.
on your off time, but that is really fun.
It is fun. It is
Yeah,
fun.
it is,
Yeah,
it is
yeah,
fun. And
yeah,
I think if we can give ourselves permission to do something that we've always thought we would enjoy, and then see that as an opportunity to, to fill these hours now
yeah,
that
yeah,
we have as, having some free time is a gift.
yeah. Well, it's largely a matter of perception.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I mean. When we experience something, it's how we label that event
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's going to really color how
Mm-hmm.
well we deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's how well we cope with it. We interpret a fall or maybe a hip fracture or a stroke or a loss in different ways, and
Yeah.
how we explain that loss, how we label it, is
Mm-hmm.
really going to color how well we manage it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, these are terrible times that people go through when they lose
Mm-hmm.
a spouse and
Mm-hmm.
they've been caregivers and uh, again, I know, I don't know personally, but I've worked with enough individuals to know how strong that person can feel from that event.
Yes,
So I'm just talking about there is life after that.
that's
There
right.
is
Yeah.
opportunity after that, and we're
Mm-hmm.
not we're not minimizing what happened. We're just
Mm-hmm.
saying, yes, it's powerful, but our future is also powerful, and we
Mm-hmm.
have
Mm-hmm.
a lot of opportunities there too. So it's purpose, but we don't wait for somebody to knock on our door and say, "Here's your purpose." Uh, we we have
Amazon's not going to deliver it to
no,
you.
no, that's going to happen. They're out of stock. Yeah. So again, it's taking that initiative and it's being kind of internally directed to go after these small things at first, and then they build and grow and multiply. Yeah,
I love that. That's
yeah,
great.
yeah,
Okay. Filling the emptiness. I really like that idea of finding purpose as a seed and then caring for it and letting it grow. That's wonderful. Um, thank you for this.
great. You're welcome.
So I think we'll wrap this up here. I need to let that seed germinate just a little bit. And we will come back in our next session. We still have many interesting topics to cover. So again, I'm with Dr. Joseph Casciani, founder of Living to 100 Club, and listen to his podcast. You can find it anywhere, can't you? That you
Yes, all right.
listen to
Apple,
podcasts? Yeah.
Spotify, all the
Yeah,
platforms.
yeah,
Sure.
that's
Yeah,
great. Okay.
great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
We'll
you,
see you
Elaine. Looking
soon.
forward to it. Okay.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.